Hi, this is Adam Diaz with Back to Radio, and you're listening to Fast Facts, a show that'll learn you something interesting in somewhere around 5 minutes or so. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Fast Facts. I'm glad you can make it. Today we will delve into the world of international mystery, a world of spies and gadgets and doodads. A world that I will hopefully find something to learn you good about that you've never heard of before. So, why spies? Well, I was talking with my good friend Cam the other day about the urban legend of the French spy and their immunity to the honey trap, and to my surprise, my man didn't even know what a honey trap was. So here we are, all about to get a lesson on sexpionage and other tools of spycraft, all because of one dumb motherfucker. Sexpionage. What is it? It's kind of what it sounds like, using sex or the possibility of sex in sex adjacent things like romance, intimacy, or seduction for the purpose of espionage. When it comes to all of the above, there is no name you should know other than the infamous Yakov Agronov, deputy of the NKVD. Known as one of the main organizers of Soviet political repressions and Stalinist show trials in the 1920s and 1930s. He was responsible for sex spy operations among the creative class intelligentsia. He used Bolshoi ballerinas, as well as cinema and theater actresses. Agronov even created a school named the Lenin Technical School. The school was opened in 1931 by, bear with me here, Vyacheslav Menshevsky, who was the head of the Joint State Police Directorate. According to legend, Richard Sorhei is known for his service in Japan in 1940 and 1941, when he provided information about Adolf Hitler's plan to attack the Soviet Union. Then, he also informed the Soviets that Japan had no intentions to attack the Soviet Union in the near future. As well as Nikolai Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov was a Soviet intelligence agent and partisan who operated in Nazi-occupied Ukraine during World War II, and who personally killed 6 high-ranking German officials. His file is still not fully disclosed and will be held in the FSB archives until next year, 2025. Studied at this Moscow sexpionage school. Now look, the Russians and Soviets were masters. They wrote the book on sexpionage and the honey trap. If you don't believe me, just Google the word sexpionage. A Washington Post article from 1987 pops up that says most Westerners who have spent any length of time in Moscow have their favorite tale of an attempted seduction by a KGB swallow or raven. A swallow was a female agent, and a raven was a male. Speaking of birds, that will be our segue to further discourse on spycraft. The birds actually aren't all that important, it's more so their eggs. Oh yeah, did I mention that it's list time? We're talking about the thingamajigs of the spy game, the tools. Ready for another name, but this time pronounced correctly and not butchered? Elizabeth Van Lew, a Union spy during the Civil War, used hollow chicken eggs and charitable donated them to smuggle hidden messages to captured Union soldiers. The next spy secret I want to bring to your attention is the popular tattoo. Well, the location of the tattoo isn't that popular. Let me explain. An ancient Greek ruler named Histiaeus had a unique method of keeping his messages secret. He shaved a messenger's head, tattooed the message onto his scalp, and waited for his hair to grow before sending him to the intended recipient. Nothing here seems suspicious, and soon that pun should become clear. Think of the most innocuous activity a person can do. It's probably got to be something like knitting, right? Well, knitting has been used as a way to record and pass on coded messages throughout history. The two primary kinds of stitches in knitting can be used to replicate the Morse code, you see. The most famous knitting spy was Phyllis Latour, a spy from World War I. She had knit secret messages onto pieces of silk, which she would then conceal in her hair tie. If you haven't caught on by now, realistically anything can be used for spycraft if the spy is crafty enough. But don't fret, I still have more gadgets, gizmos, and doodads to cover before I end this episode. When you hear spies, you're probably thinking of Cold War style spies with their mini cameras, radios, drop kits, and James Bond-esque tools. So let's end this list by discussing some of the coolest tools the CIA used during this time. My personal favorite, the smoking pipe that hid a radio receiver. The sound would travel from the pipe to the jawbone all the way to the user's ear canal. The 1970s then saw the development of a fake dragonfly that carried miniature microphones. According to the CIA, this was the first instance of bugs being used for surveillance like this in the decade. In 1965, the KGB developed a 4.5mm single-shot lipstick gun for their swallows to perform assassination missions on defectors and dissidents. Vadim Fedorovich Goncharov was the KGB's equivalent of Q from the Bond movies. Well, he created a listening bug in 1945 that was planted on a replica of the Great Seal of the United States that was given as a gift to the US ambassador to the USSR. It took the US 8 years to discover the bug's existence. Now, back to the CIA for a moment with a trip down south and around the back, if you know what I mean. Butt stuff. I'm talking about butt stuff. And the Anal CIA Toolkit. This handy and portable toolkit was designed to be concealed anally by agents. The idea was that if you were captured, you could poop out the miniature toolkit, which included saws, files, knives, and pliers, and make an escape. On September 7th, 1978, a Bulgarian journalist named Gregory Markov was stabbed in the leg with the tip of a Bulgarian umbrella. What's a Bulgarian umbrella, you ask? Well, it's a deadly tool with a hidden pneumatic device that can inject small darts containing the deadly poison ricin into intended assassination targets. It also doubles as a nifty little umbrella on rainy days.
That's all, folks.
I hope you learned a thing or two. I know I sure did. Thank you for joining me on this listicle that was born from my curiosity about sexpionage. Remember, if you have any ideas on what I should research and talk about, feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials at Back to Radio. I would give you a teaser on what to expect next, but I lost my notes on what I wanted to talk about, so that's not going to happen this time. Sorry, not sorry. Well, I'll catch you the next time. I'm Adam Diaz from Back to Radio. This has been Fast Facts. Adios.